I speak about black people in a very pronounced way when we come to revolution, because the exploitation, the enslavement, the dehumanization, and the degradation that's been inflicted on black people is foundational to this society and this system. And that is scientifically a fact. It's evidence-based. The wealth of this country, the territorial reach of this country, the military strength of this country got its roots in American slavery, the chattel slavery of black people.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So in today's episode, we're going to be reacting to a professor who was giving a lecture, right, about black people and the injustices they're going through, only for an Indian American man to stand up and complain and blame black people for always getting the attention on everything, right?
Right, because in his own view, he didn't understand why only black American plight is being brought to light, while other people of color are also suffering in America.
Yeah.
But we do not want to say so much, guys. Let's watch this and then you come back and talk about it, because after this speech, some black Americans are gonna be clapping back at this Indian American too.
Right, and explaining everything. But let's watch and then we come back with our commentaries. You can let us know your opinion and thoughts on the comment section about the same, and also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, right? Let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
I think you build a foundation of your speech on working against identity politics, yet I think so conveniently, and it was kind of ignorant, that all of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the black community. So if you could so conveniently use one specific ethnicity to kind of propagate your ideals, is that not identity politics in itself?
You allege I only spoke about what black people face in this society, and that that's a form of identity politics. In fact, it is not. First of all, I spoke about the Bangladeshi women in the sweatshops sewing our clothes. I talked about women who've been forced to have children against their will in that form of enslavement. I spoke about trans people who have faced over 500 laws this year introduced or passed, not to mention the terror that's enforced against them. I spoke about what happens on this planet as a whole as it is heating due to the destruction of climate change driven forward by the system of capitalism, imperialism. So if you missed all that, I'm not surprised if you also missed some of the scientific undergirdings of it. But to be fair, I will walk through it again. I speak about black people in a very pronounced way when we come to revolution, because the exploitation, the enslavement, the dehumanization, and the degradation that's been inflicted on black people is foundational to this society and this system. And that is scientifically a fact. It's evidence-based. The wealth of this country, the territorial reach of this country, the military strength of this country got its roots in American slavery, the chattel slavery of black people. And then on that foundation, the ideology of white supremacy, of black inferiority was propagated. It was made a bedrock, of one of the glues of this society, and it has been woven into this society ever since. The forms of oppression have changed. It took a civil war to end slavery, but then what happened? After not even 10 years of Reconstruction, where black people were brought into some rights within this country, that was betrayed. The troops were pulled out, and black people were re-enslaved in new conditions, slavery by another name, sharecropping for generations, serf-like conditions enforced through terror, lynch mob terror and violence. And the troops were pulled out to go and finish off the extermination of the native peoples. Okay? Then another generation comes up in the face of changes in the U.S. economy and the need to pull black people out of the South and into the factories. Black people stood up and they waged struggle in a civil rights movement. They gave their lives. They stood up. White people stood with them. They went down from the north and stood with them. This upended Jim Crow. It was heroic that many did just unbelievably brave things. And then that was dismantled. And what did this system come back with? A new Jim Crow of mass incarceration that has ground up millions of black lives. So when I tell the story, this is science, when I tell the story of a black woman in Harlem with binoculars next to her window watching in terror every time her 12-year-old, 13-year-old son crosses the street because of what police do every day to black people, every fucking day. When I talk about that, that is a particular that concentrates a huge reality that is defining to this country. And that's scientifically true. It's evidence-based. It's woven into the fabric of this society. It's culture, it's economics, and it's global reach. And so we could debate. If you want to argue that's not scientific, bring some evidence. If you didn't hear the science, then please. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me that it's a marginal thing. Tell me that to talk about that, I'm pimping off of it. I'm acknowledging reality. You want to say it's not defining to this country, that we shouldn't talk about it?
I want you to talk about it.
I am talking about it, yeah.
Okay, so just the fact that something actually happened or is true,
Yeah.
doesn't, anything that's empirically based is not science, right? It's like saying anything that's true is a scientifically, like, it's science. It's not. So I understand.
Okay. Okay. Let me help. Oh, go ahead. Maybe he should get the mic.
I understand that your point is I want to be building arguments based on reason and rationale.
Here, take the mic just so it gets.
I understand that your point is I want to be building arguments on reason and rationale, but that doesn't mean that it's scientific, and that doesn't mean that it's false or wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying that the validity of your argument doesn't increase by throwing the word science out. Is all I was trying to say.
Okay, so I would argue that science actually can be applied to all of reality, not just narrowly in engineering or in the natural sciences. No, this is important. What you're raising is widely felt, it's widely believed, it's widely taught, I'm sure, on this campus, that you can apply science to medicine, to nature, to the natural world. There's the hard sciences, but when you get to social reality, it's just opinions, it's experience, whatever. No. You can apply science to everything. Everything that is part of reality, which societies are, can be analyzed scientifically. Yeah. All science means, in a universal sense, is it's an evidence-based process. You gather evidence about reality, and you look for the deeper causes of the patterns in reality. And you can apply that to a society, just like you can apply it to a rainforest, just like you can apply it to a virus. You can say, what is the most defining thing about any given society? What undergirds it? What are the laws in its functioning? And a scientific analysis of this society says the most defining thing about this country is it's a capitalist, imperialist mode of production. That all of our needs are met through exploitation and people laboring in conditions all over the world to get the food we need, the clothes we wear, the pens we use, the microphones. All of this is created through global networks of production. And that all of our cultures, all of our ways of living, all of our ways of relating grow out of and have to reflect and more or less correspond to that. And so when we live in a society where the exploitation and oppression of black people has been woven into that mode of production all the way down to today, it leads to the culture and the society and the kind of police terror that we have today. That's applying science to a social contradiction.
All of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the black community.
And that really bothered him. That really did. That tore him up. I don't know what this is about, but I'm noticing an uptick of South Asian people coming out of nowhere, like trying to minimize and like explain the black experience. And I don't like it. Like this is like the fourth, I think, South Asian person. You have the guy with Don Lemon on CNN. You got Ozu, who just got on Twitter talking about Joy Reid and now this situation. And I'm gonna need y'all to stop. It's like, stop it. Like, you're not us. You know what I mean? Like, you're not us. You know, we may have certain experiences where we parallel in that way. Like, both of our cultures deal with colorism. But it's rooted from anti-blackness. Like I say, you have experiences that parallel, but it's not the same.
On working against identity politics, yet I think...
You know, it's funny to see how y'all want to be in close proximity to whiteness, but at the same time, you know what? I'm not even gonna say shit. And no other black person should even say shit, because right when this shit blow up in their face, laugh. That's what I'm gonna do. Laugh, bitch. Because you know what? When they overturned Roe versus Wade, that was meant for white women. And now white women can't even get close to a hospital to get abortion safely, because guess what? We took their rights away. That was never meant for no black person, no POC, but it was meant for white women. And now they overturned the affirmative action and all that shit. Bitch, that was meant for whites. It was never meant for blacks. Yeah, it was nice to have it for us to make sure we was included in bitch ass shit, but majority of those universities and stuff was not filled with black people. They were filled with white people. Sprinkle a little black, sprinkle a little Asians, sprinkle a little Hispanic. Baby, it was never meant for us. So therefore, I don't give a fuck no more. Baby, I never gave a fuck. However, this shit is fucking funny to watch because this shit is gonna blow up in your face. And do not look for the black woman vote because guess what? I cannot see. I am fucking blind, bitch. I don't know a damn thing. And when that revolution happened, bitch, I got that blicky for your ass. Just know that, bitch. I don't give a fuck no more. Maybe y'all want to be in so close of proximity to whiteness that you don't realize that they're using y'all asses. You never gave a fuck, so baby, guess what we gonna do? Not give a fuck either, because let's call a spade a spade. We told y'all. We've been telling y'all for years, for decades. My parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. So therefore, when this shit blow up in y'all fucking face, guess what all the black people gonna do? And I mean it. And not y'all coon ass black people. I mean seriously. Turn the other way. Don't give a fuck. You think they give a fuck about us? Let that ingest in your fucking brain, bitch.
I think you build the foundation of your speech on working against identity politics.
This is why when people say, well, Todd, you're a person of color. No, I'm not. I'm black. People of color do not like black people. They do not want to have community with us. They make that very clear every fucking day. I won't say all people of color, but I'll say enough do shit like this. If you can't undercut us, you want to use us as a prop. I don't like that shit. Compound that with the fact that every community in the world has their own form of anti-blackness. Hello? One of these things is not like the other. So no, I don't really want to be looped into a group of people who would throw me under the bus without a second thought if they thought it would put them ahead. A lot of people of color, like a lot of white people, like black people for the service that we provide you, for the culture that we provide you. You don't see us as people. So no, we're not BIPOC. I'm black.
I think you build the foundation of your speech on working against identity politics.
This why I only speak on black issues. I will never consider myself BIPOC because the IPOC don't like us. Like, I've never met a group of people so freaking ungrateful in my life. Like, I don't get it. The reason why you have all these rights in the first place is because of us. It's because of us. When y'all need us again, don't call us no more. Because y'all gotten y'all reparations. We ain't even gotten a fucking I'm sorry. You know what? Screw y'all.
All of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the black community.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but this reads off to me as jealousy. This man is jealous that one racial group's problems is being talked about and not his own, and they're being talked about from the people at the highest point of the racial hierarchy. I feel like a lot of people of color feel that white people don't talk about the issues in their racial group enough, the issues that, we can all argue white people have caused. And I feel like when they hear white people talking about our issues, it pisses them off because they feel like their issues aren't represented in the same nature. But instead of being mad at white people, they're mad at us. And they're mad at how active and loud we are about our problems, except when they need us to act for them because they feel like our tactics work. Because then they pull that POC unite. The thing is, these groups need to learn that they will never get anywhere hating on black people. And they will never get anywhere trying to kiss the YT man's ass. If you feel like your problems are not being talked about, be louder. But don't get mad at one specific group because they're doing what they have to do to be seen.
All of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the black community.
Go back and watch the original video because she reads his ass for filth. The reason why the school that you're going to isn't segregated is because of the work of black folks. The reason why you are not immediately in shackles, I guess, because you're still a slave here, by the way, is because of black people. You're welcome. Y'all want our culture. You want our food. You want our dances. You want our medicine. You want all the things that black people are and provide. But you don't want to read a book. And that's weird for me personally. Y'all don't come over here and read any type of anything outside of your anti-black rhetoric that you're given from your parents and from other folks who tell you that black people are the reason why this country is whatever. The reason why this country is a foundation at all is because of our labor. Our fucking labor, by the way. And it makes me so crazy to see other brown and black folks, because let's not, Africans have their own words for us. Africans have their own diaspora war issues with us. But the reason why you're over here is because of black Americans. The reason why you're over here and thriving is because of black Americans. We ain't seen not a fucking lick of reparations, not a lick of it. But y'all got grants, y'all got all types of fucking businesses and shit, thriving businesses. Do you know why that is? I don't think they know why it is. And that's your fucking problem. You're gonna end up just like these white folks, ass the fuck out. And black folks are gonna be fine, specifically black women. I don't have any hope for black men, but that's another story for another day. Brown immigrants will get this one whiff of white supremacy, what do you call them shits? Benefits, white supremacy benefits, and they don't let go. They love it. They love some white supremacy benefits. Y'all have fun with that shit. Really thrive with it. I hope it works for you.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the episode we just played, yeah? I feel like the woman explained the situation quite well, and I feel like, okay, I don't want to say this, but I'm just gonna say it, yeah? It took quite some, cojones for this Indian man to stand up and complain about black Americans, being that black Americans are the most afflicted group in America. And also, when you look at the Indian community, to be quite honest, they normally don't treat dark people in their community well,
Right. So if you don't treat your own dark people in your own community well, how dare you even stand up and complain that your demography isn't treated fairly when it comes to social issues being represented or being talked about, number one. And then also another thing, when this man stands up to talk, were his people there during the civil rights movement? Because
I would like to know.
It's a genuine question. I want to learn. I'm not asking because I'm trying to mock them or not. I want to know, were his people there during all these movements in America, the civil rights, And okay, I do know that every group of people were enslaved at one point or another, but were their own people, not the native Indians of America, their own people, were they enslaved in America?
That's a good question. Well, we have to talk about colonization in India and how it affected their culture and everything, how they think, because I do believe that Indian also have the caste system, and in this caste system, they are normally treated in accordance to the more melanin you have,
the worse it gets for you.
Right? So I feel like for Indians to even stand up and complain about such things, they have a lot of things to fix in their community, first of all, because we cannot be talking about fair representation in America when apparently
in your own home country, I don't know if he was born in America or he was born in India, but you can't be talking about you wanting to be treated fair when in your own community you still haven't worked on ways where you will treat the melanated Indians well. You still treat them like trash even to this day.
And they are treated, by the way, I've even seen Africans going to India and experiencing the same treatment just because they're melanated.
Not even the same treatment. The Africans are treated worse.
Right?
So if they're incapable of loving or just basically treating melanated people with kindness, why do they demand to be treated with kindness when they go somewhere else?
Leave alone that. Why do they demand to hop on the black American struggle and the victories that black Americans are claiming? Why do they also want a share of it? I feel like you should
I do understand it's in human nature for people to want to be treated well, correct and fair, but why should it be at the expense of another group that is also trying to find the same? Why do you have to equate yourself to this other group in order for you to be heard? Can't you fight as just as you instead of comparing your your struggle to another group.
Right. I do believe that if you want to find an Indian community in America, you can find people who can carry forward your grievances. You can find people who can bring forward your struggles, and you can find people who can come forward and communicate how you'd like the Indian community in America to be treated, right? And also another thing I wanted to address, you know, when he was talking and he was like, why is it that only Black American struggle is talked about? Even us, we go through these things and we want our voices to be heard. Thing is, have you ever stood up to talk about or to fight with Black Americans when they're fighting for their struggles? Just the other day, recently, we saw a video of an Indian woman in a car lot, yeah? And she was...
Oh my God.
Yeah, that video went quite viral, and it painted a bad picture, and it just showed how Indians look at Black Americans.
When it comes down to it, they look at Black Americans as less than, as they strive to be adjacent to whiteness, you know. Because one thing that a lot of Black Americans in this particular clip have been talking about, and they've been talking about in unison, is when this speech happened, instead of you being angry at Black Americans, because it wasn't even Black Americans who were giving this speech, it was a white American woman.
Right.
Instead of being angry at the Black Americans, why don't you lay the blame on the correct place for once in your life and be angry at the white population for not addressing your issues? You know, for me, I personally think that in order for you to want people to address your issues, it must start with you personally.
Right.
Because Black Americans have been doing the job since time immemorial. They are very vocal about what goes on in Black American community, and this is why this trend has caught fire, whereby other people are beginning to see their struggles, and it's being talked about far and wide, you know.
Right,
so in order for Indians to also have other people talking about their issues, it should begin in their own communities first, with them addressing issues in their own community before it can catch fire on other communities talking or defending issues that are happening in the Indian community.
Right, and I also have to say that it's high time you look at how, even in America, you look at how you treat your melanated people, and you know, there's no way you'll come to the face of people and pretend, and yet behind the scenes, there's a certain way you feel about a certain group of people, especially because they're not white, yeah? And
exactly.
like, you've not really worked hard to try and pretend that you have a good relationship with Black people. You've not really done anything of the sort. In any case, you go out of your way. If we've seen clips of Indians harassing Black Americans, you know, there's one in a neighborhood. I think we'll look for that video and even do an episode on that. He was really acting like the oppressor. He was acting like what white people do when they see a Black person in a good neighborhood. And I'm like, who are you? You look the same. So if you start harassing, you're harassing somebody as who?
The Indian was harassing the Black American man and demanding to see the ID of the Black American man, because according to the Indian, this Black American man didn't look like he was from that neighborhood.
So I'm like, how can you demand to be treated fairly when you're acting like the oppressor? You're doing the same thing to other people that you don't want to be done to you or your community, yeah?
Right, so guys, let us know what you think about this episode, and also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.